And we have on the line right now another musician who has done similar things. Aaron Seeber, who's coming into town next Wednesday at the Hill Center. Aaron, welcome to WPFW.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on here.
Well, thank you, Aaron. We got you lined up for a performance at the Hill Center next week. So who's going to be performing with you then?
It's gonna be a trio with Tim Green playing alto saxophone and Chris Fun on bass. And
Aaron, you came up in D.C. In fact, you're a protege of my good friend Paul Carr. I see you started in his Jazz Academy music camp at some point. But tell us about how you got into the music and what brought you to playing jazz drums.
Yeah, well, my older brother played the tenor saxophone, and he always was pushing me to play drums so he would have somebody to play with when we were at home.
Wow.
And he was always like forcing me to practice and play with a metronome. We have a little sign that we actually framed in my house that said if Aaron doesn't practice with a metronome, he'll be severely beaten. Thankfully, he didn't do that.
So what got you into taking it, in school and things like that? How did you decide to pursue it beyond your brother?
Well, I guess doing Paul Carr's program really pushed me, and as I got into high school, I started going out and hearing live music, hearing people like the Young Lions, Alan Johnson. Those guys had a huge effect on me, wanting to really, hearing them play music was so inspiring and made me feel so good that I wanted to have that feeling playing and performing, and I realized that was something that made me so happy to do and pursue,
And what was the school program like? You went to Walt Whitman High School. They have a good program there?
Yeah, they have a really good jazz program. Chris Allen used to run the program when I was there, and he was really fantastic. They would get people to come in and write, like Alan Baylock used to write, I don't know if he still is, he used to come in and hear the band, and then he would arrange a song for the band that year. Which was very cool at the time. And, the program definitely helped a lot. We went to all sorts of festivals and stuff, and I got to hear other great musicians, and they would have us audition for, like, the All-State Jazz Band, which I did, and I met people that I'm still really close with today, people that live in New York or L.A., all over the country, pursuing music.
And where'd you go to college? And what made you decide to go there?
Yeah. I went to SUNY Purchase in Westchester, New York, right outside of the city. I went there because the faculty, Kenny Washington and John Riley, were the drum teachers.
Okay.
And, yeah. And so, obviously, it would be hard to not pick a school with those two guys teaching, and also the proximity to the city, all the jazz clubs, and countless people that I was able to connect with and take lessons with outside of school. So it really made a lot of sense to be at Purchase.
And did you just stay in the New York area, or did you come back home for a while before you decided that you can really make it staying in New York City?
Well, I guess I used to come home to D.C. every summer, and which would be a long break while I was in school. But then when I graduated, I pretty much moved right away. I might have come home for a couple weeks while we were apartment searching, but I thought it would be best to just make the move right away, and because I know a lot of people that will move back home and then get comfortable, and kind of shy away from the prospect of moving. and so I just did it, you know.
So who are some of the folks that you've been working with while you're living up in New York City?
Let's see. I've been playing some with Mike LaDon and David Wong.
Oh, good. Yes.
I've been working in Ed Cherry's organ trio. Played some gigs with Joe Magnarelli and Ben Allison. I play with this great pianist Pete Malinverni.
Sure.
Yeah, I've been working in his trio a bunch over the last year. Yeah, who else? Josh Evans, Stacey Dillard, David Bryant, really fantastic young pianist.
I see from the Hill Center write-up that you also performed the legendary Freddie Red.
Yes, I did. Actually, that was in Baltimore. That was a weekly thing.
Wow.
With Brad Lindy used to set that up, and yeah, that was really incredible. I learned so much from him. You know, the feeling of playing behind him, and just the buoyancy of his music and his spirit and his energy was really infectious. You know, I learned that was a treasure. That was really lucky, because he's not doing so well right now. He's been in and out of the hospital.
Oh, really? Oh, that's too bad. He's up there in his mid to late 80s, I guess.
Yeah, he's up there definitely. And
but, for folks who don't know, he actually did the soundtrack for this incredible play that was actually about the drug scene in jazz called The Connection. They had Jackie McLean performing and acting in the play also. The musicians also acted in it, and did a series of recordings for Blue Note that are just classic. And I guess that connection with one of the older masters really is important for someone like yourself coming up.
Absolutely.
So tell us again about what you got coming up on Wednesday at the Hill Center. And working.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we're gonna play. Whenever I play with Tim and Chris a lot, and we've done a bunch of Mulgrew Miller tributes, because he was, Tim played in his band, and I used to follow Mulgrew around. When I was younger, I drove his drummer Rodney Green all over the place.
Okay,
and got to hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we're gonna play some pieces. Sorry.
Yeah, Mulgrew Miller's pianist was just incredible. I got to interview him a couple of times. He was really very warm and friendly, and I'm just thrilled to have known him. And
yeah,
it's really important that you do that.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're gonna pay tribute to him. We're gonna play a few. I was thinking we would play a few kind of things in tribute to Ornette. I've done a bunch of kind of free experimental stuff with Tim, and I know a lot of people haven't really heard that side of him. And I just thought in a trio setting it'd be really nice to kind of open up a little bit and experiment on some new stuff together. I always like doing that when I play with those guys.
And what about a recording? When are you going to get something out? Working with folks like Elijah and folks like that. What have you got? What have you got going?
Well, I'm actually I've been planning a record. I've been working on locking down a studio and who to master it and getting the band together. And I hope to record in the spring of next year. And yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of the guys are gonna. I do a residency at Smalls every other week on Wednesday night.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm gonna feature a lot of those guys. Davis Whitfield, who's Mark Whitfield's son, Dean Torrey, the bass player, and I think I'm gonna have Warren Wolf and Tim Green both play on some tracks, and So I'm working it out, you know.
Sounds great. So we're looking forward to talking to you again when you get the record out next year. Again, Aaron Seeber is performing at the Hill Center. That's next Wednesday. And the Hill Center is this wonderful cultural center that was the old Washington Naval Hospital that's been completely refurbished. It's located at 921 Pennsylvania Avenue Southeast. And the show next week's at 7 o'clock. And the phone at the Hill Center is 202-549-4172. And well, thanks for calling in tonight. We're looking forward to seeing you next week. And it's a great performance space at the Hill Center. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll really like it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Rusty.
Well, thanks again for calling in, Aaron. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Beautiful. Looking forward to it.
Okay, catch you then.